You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for our Black and White Sports. We're going to talk about ESPN, the NBA, and Communist China. Now, I don't know what is more surprising, the fact that ESPN shockingly did some journalism, or the fact that they did an article involving the NBA, which they are themselves heavily invested and involved in, but ESPN nonetheless stepped out there, did an article exposing exactly how much the NBA owners have invested involving China. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. $10 billion. Wow. Let's get to this because, this is something we knew. We just didn't know to what extent exactly. And I'm not sure the overlords at Disney are going to be real happy with ESPN for having done this, because we know Disney caters to Communist China as well. Not only does the NBA and its various owners have more than $10 billion invested in genocidal Red China, one NBA owner is even deep in bed with a company on the U.S. sanctions list, according to a review of the league's interests published by ESPN. In its May 19th article, ESPN notes that the NBA has been fully restored to Chinese television after a 2-year hiatus as the communist nation's leaders punished the league because one of its team managers voiced support for pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. Wow, they punished them for 2 years over this Daryl Morey thing. That's crazy. A look at ESPN's article shows precisely why the National Basketball Association lost its collective mind when Rockets manager, he was the general manager, Daryl Morey, had the audacity to post a short tweet in October 2019 that was supportive of the pro-democracy movement that China was brutally oppressing in Hong Kong. That's the same tweet that LeBron James supposedly claimed that arguably the smartest guy in the entire NBA in Daryl Morey was uneducated. I mean, LeBron James is an idiot. With his support for a people longing to be free, Morey put in jeopardy the billions of dollars the NBA invested in the most inhumane and oppressive nation on earth. By the way, Morey has come out and said that he has been threatened over that physically, him and his family in the past. That is why, soon as Morey tweeted, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong," the NBA erupted in fury that Morey would dare say something that could upset the league's billions of dollars in deals with Red China. And LeBron James was one of those who went into a rage over Morey's support of freedom. Early on, James spoke out against Morey and called him, quote, uneducated about the situation in Hong Kong, though he never bothered to adjudicate just what Morey was missing about China's brutal crackdown on Hong Kong residents. Wow. Okay. Morey was quickly forced to apologize for hoping to support a democratic movement and was almost fired and barred from the NBA for life because he endangered the NBA's money. With history illuminated, ESPN tracked down some of the investments that NBA owners have in Red China. And the Heat owner is way in deep with China. I mean, shockingly deep. Heat owner Mickey Erickson, for example, has more than $375 million invested in China with his collaboration with a China State Shipbuilding Corporation, a company that is working with Ericsson's Carnival Cruise business and company that is deeply connected to the Chinese military. In other words, Ericsson is deep in bed with a company that is building warships for the Chinese military, ships intended to destroy America's Navy, and ships the Chinese leaders intend to use to invade U.S. ally Taiwan. The Chinese company is also on a list of those sanctioned by the U.S. government. Meanwhile, hypocrite Erickson claims to be a human rights activist. All right. We here at Breitbart Sports already reported that Nets owner Joe Tsai's company Alibaba has a troubling habit of funding companies developing technology to track, record, and control Chinese inhabitants. China has the most advanced inhuman surveillance system ever created, and NBA's favorite team owner has helped China build the infrastructure to create that oppressive regime. Tsai, who also owns the WNBA New York Liberty and the San Diego Seals of the National Lacrosse League, is worth $8.5 billion, mostly from his Amazon-esque company Alibaba, that I think sells largely a bunch of Chinese bullshit. Headquartered in Hangzhou, China, with a revenue of over $700 billion per year. Then there is King's co-owner Paul Jacobs, who has more than 30% of his net worth linked to business in China. ESPN added, with an investment in tech company Qualcomm, it is estimated that Jacobs has about $140 million exposure in Red China. Next up, ESPN found Memphis Grizzlies owner Robert Pereira's stake in Asian wireless Ubiquiti finds himself invested in China to the tune of $369 million. Jesus. So many other owners are also neck deep in genocidal China. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitti's restaurant chain totals $160.3 million in China. Charlotte Hornet co-owner Michael Jordan has $85 million in exposure, and 76ers owner Joshua Harris has $476.5 million at risk in China. These owners and their personal investments are only added to the $5 billion the NBA has invested in the communist giant. All this explains why the NBA and the NBA's owner refuse to criticize a country that imprisons Christians and members of the minority religions, brutally oppresses political opposition, arrests, jails, enslaves Uyghur minority population, and maintains the most impressive and intrusive mass surveillance state in human history. Meanwhile, they nearly daily call America racist, disparage our history, and work to undermine our traditions and government. Yeah, it's the strangest relationship ever. Especially, let's just look at somebody like LeBron James, who's this social justice warrior. They absolutely hate everything LeBron James is out there running his mouth about, including blacks, by the way. That's a league that is vastly made up of black athletes. China has been widely known and well known to not like black people. When the coronavirus started, they were saying, remember, the black community was overly affected by the virus, and in China they were barring black people from restaurants because they thought they could spread the virus easier than other people. I shit you not. Then you have LeBron James that went over there to try to sell Space Jam 2, The Search for Chinese Dollars, and came up with a goose egg, by the way. The NBA, I don't think they will ever get away from China. Why? There's the reason. NBA owners are all up in it. All up in it to the tune of millions upon millions. We're talking big-time millions of dollars here. And $10 billion overall. And actually, the longer version of this article, actually from ESPN, I believe ESPN themselves is involved with China to the tune of $175 million. I'm really surprised that an ESPN journalist brought that up, but they did. I'll give them credit for it. Michael Jordan, $85 million, and his Jordan brand is huge over there, and that's probably where the $85 million comes from. Wow. There is no hope, in my opinion, of the NBA ever severing itself from China. They're too heavily involved. Their owners are way too heavily involved. Basically, every social justice aspect of the NBA that they want to go out there and celebrate and virtue signal to is some kind of cause that China themselves absolutely hates. It's a league littered with hypocrisy. It's absolutely crazy. And then you got somebody like LeBron James going out there and running his mouth about arguably the smartest guy in the entire league in Daryl Morey, and that is one smart sumbitch, let me tell you. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Look, if you're waiting to go back to the NBA because of China, you'll never be back. And I don't blame you. I mean, that's absolutely crazy, the level of intertwined ancestral bindness that the league has created amongst ownership and communist China. That league's lost to China, basically. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.